This is Keep On Cooking, a podcast for people who love cookbooks and want to know more about the authors. It's also a great place to get a weekly dose of culinary inspiration to keep things pumping in the kitchen. So grab a cookbook and keep on cooking. I'm Dustin Harder, and this is Keep On Cooking. Hello and welcome to Keep On Cooking, the only podcast dedicated to plant-based cookbooks. I'm your host, Dustin Harder, and listen, I tried being mysterious once, but turns out I just look like I forgot where I parked. And I ended up here by myself to chat about a book that I flip through every single holiday season, and it's full of great recipes. But David and I always make a particular one. We've made it for the last 3 years now. It's the smoked chili and rosemary dough ball with fondue. We love these rolls. We bake them in a cast iron skillet. And then we actually don't make the fondue with them, but they've got smoked chili flakes in them and rosemary in them. And they're just so yummy and fluffy and delicious. We make them every Christmas and usually on Thanksgiving too. So we will most likely probably make them this year, though I am trying another roll recipe this year as well. So, it's all about the rolls from scratch. I love it. And before we dive into Vegan Christmas by Gaz Oakley, that's the book we're talking about today. Vegan Christmas by Gaz Oakley. It's got those amazing rolls and so many other great recipes. It's over 70 amazing recipes for the festive season by avant-garde vegan Gaz Oakley himself. But we've got a couple of upcoming books to tell you about, of course. A Grain, a Green, a Bean, One Simple Formula, Countless Meatless Meals. This is by Jenna Hamshaw. It's coming out April 15th, 2025. Now, I love Jenna. The Full Helping on socials, if you want to check her out there. She has been on the podcast twice, once to chat about her book Power Plates, that's episode 14, and again to chat about her book The Vegan Week, that's episode 81. So I was thrilled to learn about this new book in A Grain, a Green, a Bean, One Simple Formula, Countless Meatless Meals. This simple trinity of foods lends itself to endless possibilities. Jenna expands on the nourishing and economical trio with meals that include not only dark leafy greens, whole grains, and beans, but also pasta, bread, zucchini, edamame, and tofu. She offers an approach to wholesome vegan eating that's welcoming and adaptable to any lifestyle. Keeping busy schedules in mind, A Grain, a Green, a Bean includes time-saving methods and formulas, including sheet pan meals and one-pot wonders. Love that. In short, recipes that will become a staple and you will turn to again and again for years to come. Now, this comes out April 15th, 2025. That's A Grain, a Green, a Bean by Jenna Hamshaw. You can pre-order it now. Another new one to keep your eye out for is Breaking Up with Dairy, 100 indulgent plant-based recipes for cheese and butter, cream, and milk. Lovers everywhere. So this is by Bailey Ruskis, Chef Bay on social platforms. It's coming out February 11th, Breaking Up with Dairy. Chef Bay was on the podcast to chat about her first book, Cook, Heal, Go Vegan. That's episode 76. If you want to go back and give it a listen, she'll be back on to talk about this new book, Breaking Up with Dairy. So you have that episode to look forward to as well. We'll get that out for you in the new year, just before this book comes out, so we can take a deeper dive into it for you. Listen, about the book, cheese can be the breaking point that keeps many people from breaking up with dairy, because let's face it, dairy is delicious. And Breaking Up with Dairy, Chef Bay shares over 100 unbelievable plant-based dairy recipes. Plant-based, I want to say dairy-free recipes, but I pulled it from Amazon. That's what it says. Includes recipes that mimic beloved cheeses like Gorgonzola, Young Gruyere, pepper jack, parmesan, and more, which you can use in the following recipes: baked truffle mac, New York style spelt bagels with roasted garlic, cream cheese, breakfast pizza pockets with hollandaise, mini quiches, air fried ricotta bowls with ratatouille sauce, and so much more. Breaking Up with Dairy doesn't have to feel like a loss with these mouth-watering substitute dishes. So Breaking Out with Dairy by Chef Bailey Ruskis comes out February 11th. Again, we'll have her on the podcast to talk all about it, so you have that to look forward to. Now, what is a fun fact this week? So this book by Gaz Oakley, of course, Gaz Oakley's from the United Kingdom, and so this book is very focused on what Christmas looks like in the United Kingdom, right? And I'm just an American, so I said, what is a typical Christmas dinner plate in the United Kingdom, to chat GPT, and this is what we got. A standard Christmas dinner in the UK is a festive feast centered around roast turkey served with stuffing, roast potatoes, and a variety of sides like Brussels sprouts, parsnips, and carrots. often accompanied by pigs in a blanket. So that's bacon wrapped sausages or hot dogs in America. Traditional accompaniments include gravy, cranberry sauce, and sometimes bread sauce. For dessert, the classic choice is Christmas pudding, a rich, steamed fruit pudding often served with brandy butter, custard, or cream. Other festive treats might include mince pies and a cheese board to finish the meal. So I had a follow up question to this. What is bread sauce? I'd never heard that before. So, bread sauce is a traditional British sauce typically served with roast poultry, especially at Christmas. It's made by simmering milk with other ingredients like onion, cloves, bay leaves, and other spices to infuse flavor. Stale white breadcrumbs are then added to thicken the milk, creating a creamy, savory sauce. The result is a comforting, mildly spiced accompaniment that pairs well with turkey or chicken. It's often finished with butter, cream, or a sprinkle of nutmeg for richness and served warm. So kind of like a gravy, maybe. Maybe there's one in the book. Maybe we will cross paths with one today. Now let's chat about it. Vegan Christmas: over 70 amazing recipes for the festive season by avant-garde vegan. Vegans and vegetarians everywhere will have the best holiday period ever with Gaz Oakley's fantastic alternatives to the traditional turkey and trimmings. Gaz is an expert in bold flavors and textures, so everyone can enjoy a spectacular centerpiece and amazing food throughout the festive season. Gaz talks you through the menus and the planning, from Christmas morning breakfast like sweet potato waffles and tofu Benedict, through to a show-stopping lunch with the likes of ultimate Christmas Wellington, turkey roast, and festive nut roast wreath served with all the trimmings, no pigs in a blanket, Hasselback potatoes, and fluffy Yorkshire puddings, all rounded off with spectacular dairy-free desserts, including Boozy Tiramisu and Brioche bread and butter pudding. There are vegan versions of mince pies, Pavlova, and even a cheese board for after. Wow, all the things that we listed in that Chat GPT answer about a UK Christmas. That's amazing. Um, and hearing all of these, I have the things I make every Christmas, but now I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I'm going to be from the UK this Christmas. Maybe that's what's going to happen. David and I have this dream. We really want to spend a Christmas in London one year. Like it is a dream of ours. We're going to make it come true. We want to spend like a nice 2-week period, maybe like Christmas into New Year's or something. We want to rent like a beautiful flat and just like really immerse ourselves in being in London for a Christmas. We don't know. It's just something that we've always wanted to do. We're going to make it happen. All right, now back to the book. It's not just about the big day. Gaz offers a supreme spread of party food for when you're celebrating with guests: mini sausage rolls, sticky barbecue ribs, and arancini, among many others, plus ideas for leftovers, including Christmas curry and gyros, packed with suggestions for the festivities and advice on how to keep cool in the kitchen if you're cooking on the big day. Vegan Christmas Cookbook offers every solution you'll ever need for what to cook for vegans and vegetarians at Christmas. Now, Gaz Oakley, formerly known as the Avant-Garde Vegan, is a chef and cookbook author from Cardiff, Wales, known for vegan food. He was described in the Daily Telegraph as a star of the meat-free world, whose recipes have gained the respect of herbivores and carnivores alike. You can learn all you want to know about the magnificent Gaz Oakley at gazoakleychef.com. And that's Oakley, well, Gaz, G-A-Z. Oakley is Oakley. So it's gazoakleychef.com. Now, listen, I got to tell you about Gaz. My relationship with Gaz, don't know him. Have reached out several times to try and get him on the podcast because his books are fabulous. His content is fabulous. And he's so attractive to me. I do think he is a very good looking man. Also, he just seems too cool. Like he seems too cool for me. So maybe that's why I've not been able to attract him to the podcast. But like him and his friends all seem too cool for me. Like when you flip through this book, you see pictures of his friends. I'm like, gosh, you guys are so cool. You guys are so cool. Can I sit at your cool table? But I do think he is quite adorable and lovely, and I love this book. And I want to get a couple other of his books maybe too. So, and as I do, I'm persistent as can be. I will follow up on those websites and all those random emails to see if I can get him on the pod. He's got other books out, which I mentioned at the end of this, so I will let you know what else to look for. And let's get into it. Vegan Christmas: over 70 amazing recipes for the festive season by Avant-Garde Vegan. And this, my friends, is the book. We're getting into it. All right. So we've got an introduction in the beginning. He does have something to say about Christmas. He says, Christmas is a time for celebration and happiness. I've always loved Christmas, and growing up, my family made it very special. My dad is a great cook, and the food was always a big part of the celebrations. When I started cooking, I took over the Christmas Day cooking responsibilities from my dad, and it was great feeling serving up my own food for the family. When I went vegan, I had to put in extra effort. I didn't want my family feeling that they were missing anything. And listen, that's always what I want to do with my family. Like, I'm kind of like, hey, sit back and let me just like make you the best meal ever. And they just will not do it. Like, I love you, mom, but my mom will not let me do it. You know, she's got her traditions and things. So I have respect and I understand it, but I'm kind of like, man, if you would release for 1 year and just let me like take over, I will bring you the biggest feast to the table. And it sounds like Gaz had the opportunity to do it. Good for him. He goes on to say, I've put together the ultimate vegan Christmas cookbook to help you create extravagant, festive vegan food. I'm so proud of the recipes in this book, and I can assure you that they are all packed with incredible festive flavors. There are some real showstoppers that are guaranteed to wow all of your guests at Christmas at a time of happiness and peace. Oh, we need it this year, guys. My goal is to get as many people's Christmas dinner tables to reflect that. Love that. The fewer animal products on dinner tables, the better. And I hope the recipes in my book will inspire you to share my goal and achieve it yourself. Thanks so much for purchasing my book. Merry Christmas, Gaz. That inspires me. I wonder if my mother would let me do Christmas brunch. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh. Even as I say that, I'm like, oh, but what if people don't like it? So in the intro, he's got things like ingredients and equipment. So he sets you up sort of for success with that, and he gets right into it with Christmas morning. We're looking at bacon here. Now it's called streaky bacon, and right away I look at it. It's got like the stripes of what would be fat in it, right? And I'm just like, gosh, that looks difficult. And he says, this is the most incredible vegan bacon you will taste. It's definitely worth all the effort, and it's a key element in my No Turkey, page 64, No Pigs in a Blanket, page 95. So I love that he's giving you a beautiful bacon recipe in here. I'm not sure I'll ever do it. Bacon's never been a big one for me, I gotta be honest. But for those that are looking for a bacon substitute, because the market still hasn't really cornered anything on that, I don't feel I like Upton's Naturals bacon, but they still don't have like the fat in it, right? There have been a couple brands out that come out to do like the fatty streaks in it, and like they've been okay. I don't think they're on the market anymore. But anyway, this looks like a really good, the picture looks fantastic. The ingredients seem spot on. And again, he says there's a little effort, so you know you're gonna have to get into that. But I think worth it ultimately if you love yourself some bacon. Next is a recipe for caramelized bananas. And these caramelized bananas are not just caramelized banana. It's a beautiful plate, and then it's topped with fresh mint, lime zest, walnuts, blueberries, coconut flakes, and a little maple syrup. So like a lot of different textures and flavors. It's not just caramelized banana. He's hitting you here with a tofu Benedict, and it looks like it's everything we want it to be. It's got the tofu, the spinach, the hollandaise sauce on a I was gonna say McMuffin, English muffin, sweet potato waffles with sauteed mushrooms. I have a sweet potato waffle in one of my books. His looks better than mine. I'm not gonna lie. Gosh, this looks gorgeous. I love it. Sweet potato waffles with sauteed mushrooms, and that is our Christmas morning section, which takes us into party food and light meals. Now, I gotta say, we're always thinking about the holiday table, right? Like what's going to happen Christmas Eve? What's going to happen Christmas Day? But there's so much that happens around this. I'm working with a fitness coach right now. I've been working with him the last 3 months. I got a couple more months left with him. And every week you can ask these questions where he answers it like to the group. And I said, what do you do to sort of navigate the holidays? And he really honed in on like just the day, like Thanksgiving or Christmas Day. And I was like, no, bro. Like I'm talking Thanksgiving through New Year's. Like how do you set yourself up for success? Because it's not just about those meals. And I know I'm talking about two things now because I'm talking about fitness and sort of like keeping your balance during the holidays. But what I also want to get at is because there are multiple parties you're going to in December, right? So it's not just about the day. There's all these delicious foods that people bring to the table. We're all celebrating. We're all being joyful. We all want to eat the indulgent foods. We all want to have the sugar, the booze. Not me because I don't drink, but I'm gonna have myself mocktails. Don't you worry. We all want to have the thing. I said sugar and booze too because Anna Gastar's Christmas album, which is fierce, called Sugar and Booze. Love it so much. Love Anna Gastar. Hello. Just want to say, I listened to an episode recently of her on Las Culturistas podcast, and she talked about playing Alphabet. And I am so happy and proud that I saw her play Alphabet. I saw Anna Gastar play Alphabet. This must have been like 2006. And I just remember being like, Wow, that's strange to me that Anna Gasteyer is playing Alphaba, and I went and she was fantastic. So for anyone wondering if Anna Gasteyer can really truly sing, the gal's got the pipes. She brings it to the table and serves it up. She was amazing as Alphaba. Okay, so we're getting into party bites, which took me on a tangent about, trying to eat well during the holidays. Forget that I was talking about eating well during the holidays and now focus on like what you're going to do, what you're going to bring to the table when it's not Christmas Day, it's not Christmas Eve, it's not Thanksgiving. We've got smoked salmon with cream cheese capers and dill canapes. Oh, they look so good. Scallops. So these are mushroom scallops with crispy bacon, pea puree, and taste of the sea foam. This is a chefy dish we're looking at here. This is a chefy dish. It sure is. Uh, and he gives you a different recipe for bacon in here. So you've got two. This one looks a lot easier and it's done with rice paper. So if you haven't made bacon with rice paper, I highly recommend it. It's crispy, it's light, it's crunchy, it's so delicious, and he uses them so beautifully in this dish. It's a really pretty dish. I don't get much into the foam of things, but he's chefy, so he gave you some sea foam here. This is definitely a high-end chefy dish here with scallops, with crispy bacon, pea puree, and taste of the sea foam. Um, and then we've got parsnip and vanilla soup. Okay. Parsnips are one I've been trying to get into for years. So a little hit of vanilla in there, that sounds kind of lovely. I'm not gonna lie, because that's always my problem. I'm like, this is so earthy. I don't dislike it, but I'm like not in love with it. I'm like, what can we do to like balance that earthiness out? Maybe that vanilla is the right touch here. Butternut. I wondered what the arancini were gonna be, y'all. They're butternut squash arancini filled with air quotes mozzarella. How lovely. Oh my gosh. See, let me make brunch this year, Mom. I want to make these. My family would swoon over these. Oh, I'm getting inspired. The thing is, every year, I'm like, let me just do this. And I make a bunch of stuff. And she still sneaks up on me and makes a bunch of her own stuff. And then we just have like so much food. When ultimately, like, I'm happy with like a couple of vegan things. I don't need the spread. I make the spread because I want to feed everyone. Anyway. Okay. What else we got here? Cranberry glazed barbecue ribs. Ooh, they look so good. Cranberry glazed. What a great idea to Christmify these ribs. I would probably, and not that I don't trust Gaz's ribs, but what I might do, because I'm considering this now, I'm getting inspired. What I might do is make the ribs from Miyoko's homemade pantry, because I freaking love those ribs so much. Like David and I love them. And then I might do the cranberry barbecue sauce with those. What a treat that would be, hey? Oh, so good. Okay. What else do we got here? Trying to turn the page. Here he is, a picture of him being all hip and cool with his cool friends. Oh, Gaz, if only I were cool enough to hang out with you. Okay. Welsh rare bits. Let's see what this is. I was really pleased when I veganized this classic. I'm proud to be Welsh. If you hadn't guessed, this is our fancy cheese on toast. Super addictive, and it looks really good. It looks like he puts it in the broiler and he gets a crispy crunch on that cheesy topping on his toast. Like, how yummy is that? Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it is. So it's a cheese, there's caramelized red onions, there's cheese sauce on top of toast, and then you put it in the broiler. Yummy. Mini sausage rolls. He said, I couldn't not put sausage rolls in my party section. These are the best served with horseradish sauce. Okay. Party. All right. Then we got fish finger sliders with sriracha mayo. I love these mini burgers. Perfect for kids too. If you don't have time to make your own sliders, use shop bought rolls. Good stuff there. Pan roasted mushroom wraps with hoisin sauce. Love that. Love me hoisin sauce on anything. He's got a great recipe for quiches in here. They look like individual quiches too, which I love. I mean, I love myself a full quiche, but it is nice to have individual quiches, I feel like. Then you can maybe even personalize them too for what everybody wants. Oh, he's got the pastry crust in here you make from scratch, the quiche filling, which is a tofu base with chickpea flour base, and then different options for fillings to put on the inside. So that's great. And oh, here they are. Here they are, my babies. Smoked chili and rosemary dough ball fondue. So he says this is a showstopper. Light, fluffy dough balls flavored with beautiful smoky chili and rosemary, simple to make, and paired with my cheese sauce. They are divine. He's not wrong, everybody. I love these year after year. I will say David and I skipped the fondue because it doesn't make that much ultimately. Like we want more. And we kind of just want the rolls with our dinner. So we're like, we don't need these for like we don't use them in a party setting. If you were making them in a party setting, the fondue makes tons of sense. Um, but I might also say I have other fondues that I would pair this with. There's a fondue in the Herbivorous Butcher cookbook. If you have that cookbook, it's my favorite fondue. It's super easy to make, but here's my thing for you. It calls for 2 tablespoons of salt. I'm talking about the Herbivorous Butcher fondue now. Do not do 2 tablespoons. I think it's a typo. They were also on to talk about that book. So I don't know what episode it was, but I had Kale and Aubrey on to talk about that. It's a wonderful book. The pepperoni recipe in that book is like one of my favorites. I've made it several times. Also made this fondue by them several times, but use 2 teaspoons of salt, not 2 tablespoons. If you use 2 tablespoons, it's like a salt lick. If you use 2 teaspoons, it's perfection. It's perfect. So use 2 teaspoons of salt if you make that fondue. There was another fondue I made recently that I really, really enjoyed from a cook. Oh, duh. From the veg bar book that we talked about last week, the rutabaga fondue. I just made that. I've been waiting for that recipe for years and I absolutely loved it, hands down. So get yourself some of that rutabaga fondue because it is absolutely delicious in that veg bar book. And again, you can make this cheese fondue in here. I just might like double or triple the recipe. It's never enough for all because this makes a lot of rolls. I think it says, how many does it say? It says serves 10, but I swear there's like 40 rolls when you make it and you weigh the rolls out and everything. I mean, that would be what? 4 rolls per person? I mean, maybe he's not wrong there because David and I can definitely eat 4 of those rolls in one sitting. Okay, centerpieces is our next chapter. Okay, this is called No Turkey Wrapped in Gaz's Streaky Bacon. It looks delicious. He says, this is technical to make, but so rewarding when you slice into it. I believe this recipe is powerful enough to help reduce the amount of people having meat on their dinner tables at Christmas. The flavors are incredible. Well, I love that. Again, I've said this now several times in the last few weeks on this podcast. David and I turned to that tofurkey. We love it. Have I made roast from scratch before? I absolutely have. I have not found it to be a rewarding experience. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Because the joy to me of getting the tofurkey is that I can put the tofurkey in the oven and then I can really focus on the sides of it all. So for me, it's not like the most rewarding experience in the world, but I am not mad at someone who wants to like dial in and make that centerpiece. I'm here for it. I think that's great. He's got a rich white wine gravy. Oh, stuffed squash roast. This is so cute. It's like a butternut squash cut in half, loaded with stuffing on the inside. So good. Um, well, it's loaded with a Christmas rice that's got wild rice, chestnuts, apricots, mixed nuts, cayenne pepper, paprika, lemon juice, salt and pepper, and dried sage. It's got mushrooms in there with garlic powder, salt and pepper, cranberry orange sauce. And yeah, it just looks really yummy and a fun one to bring to the table. Now he's see now I might change my mind about that Christmas roast situation because he is showing me a delicious Christmas roast. It says ultimate Christmas roast. This Christmas, this is Christmas all wrapped up. Literally, the Christmassy flavors we all love are in this roast beef Wellington. It's so succulent and flavorsome, and I got to tell you, it looks like it. It looks so good. It is a beef seitan loaf wrapped in a pastry puff essentially, and it looks divine. It looks so good, and he's got gravy in here, cranberry sauce on top of it. So I mean, I'm not saying I'll never make a roast again because I see things like this and I get really excited about it. So but I do like I'd make it, but I might still have the tofurkey just like waiting in the background. Is that terrible? I can't help it. We love the tofurkey, everybody. We love it. Rosemary red wine and garlic beef with rich jus. I think I made this. Speaking of roast, packed with hearty flavors, this seitan beef roast is seriously good. The broth reduces down to create the ultimate jus. You can make the beef up to 3 days in advance of serving, providing you store it in the fridge. I think I made this, and it looks so yummy. And it was delicious. I'm remembering it now. The season's so good. Mm. It's a roast. It's a seitan roast essentially. Okay, stuffed aubergine platter. Now aubergine is eggplant, everybody. I didn't know that for a very long time. It's probably my least favorite vegetable. These look fun. They look festive. I'm into it. I'm not going to make them myself, but if you love eggplant, because this is also, I'm seeing some pomegranate arils on this. Y'all, I love me pomegranate arils during the holidays for a little garnish on something. It's the perfect pop of like bright red. You put it on a salad. It's like it's Christmas in a bowl, essentially. So he says a lighter option for your Christmas spread, but no compromise on taste. Make sure you char the aubergine before baking. It adds loads of flavor. I really love the design of this book too. There's some drawings with vegetables and everything. Just makes it. It's just very very well thought out and well designed book. Festive Nut Roast Wreath. So this nut roast is in the shape of a wreath. I think we caught on to that by the title, right? He said, well, it wouldn't be a vegan Christmas without a nut roast. Roasted in a wreath tin and topped with my cranberry sauce. It's the perfect Christmas centerpiece. So base of different nuts in here and topped with a cranberry orange sauce and great garnishes on the top make it look like a beautiful wreath. I mean, a dark, nutty loaf wreath, essentially. Mushroom and lentil parcels. He says these are delicious with hearty lentils and meaty portobello mushrooms. I usually make the rich filling the day before to let the flavors deepen. And parcels, I mean, I think that just means that these are being, yeah, they're being packed into pastry dough, creating a parcel. Okay, moving right along. Oh, shallot tarte tatin. I don't know if I'm saying any of that right. Tarte tatin? Tart tatin. Tartetantin. Tatin. Tarte tatin. Shallot. He says, unveil this tart tatin to your guest and you will be worshipped. It looks yummy. I have no idea what it is. It doesn't really tell me in that description either. It looks like a round savory cake almost. With shallots that have been caramelized on the bottom of it. So it is probably absolutely delicious. All right, our next chapter is my thing is about that. So that is a centerpiece. That's the last one in the centerpiece. It could serve as a centerpiece, but say you're having a bunch of non-vegans over, you definitely need to do something that they're familiar with, right? Which is why I'm like Christmas Eve, I'm not touching. But then I'm wondering Christmas Day, I'm like, well, ribs are not like a Christmas thing. If I did it with like the cranberry barbecue and brought that to the table, like, might that be exciting for my family? And maybe if y'all listened last week, you heard I did that Martha watch party and I did loaded crispy baked potatoes. So it was small potatoes, smashed crispy potatoes, topped with like a sour cream, chive, cheddar, bacon, vegan mixture, right? I veganized this Martha Stewart recipe and they were such a crowd pleaser. So I don't know. I'm going to talk to my mom. I'm going to talk to her. I'll keep you posted on how this goes. Okay. No pigs in a blanket. He says, just look at these. And they do look so good. He goes, you should have seen the expression on my face when I cracked this recipe. This just proves there really is no need to eat animals. Any oil will do if you don't have smoked olive oil. He's got mini sausages in here that you can make from scratch. And then, of course, the bacon you can make from scratch as well. So this is going to be a heavy-handed recipe you're going to have to like get into to make. But looks like if you know, pigs in a blanket are your thing. See, now I don't remember pigs in a blanket like this. I don't remember it as sausage wrapped in bacon, but maybe that's the UK. Here, it's a hot dog in like a puff pastry, right? But maybe I'm mixing that up. Maybe we call that something else, and pigs in a blanket have always been bacon wrapped. I don't know. All right. Now it looks like we've got some sort of casserole that looks absolutely delicious. Herb crusted cauliflower and leek cheese. He said this is creamy and cheesy thanks to the coconut milk, miso, and nutritional yeast. Y'all, three of my favorite ingredients, especially around the holidays. That is going to give you that decadent, luscious, creamy umami pop that you want in these holiday dishes. He says, of course, being a Welshman, I like to add leek as well. The herby breadcrumbs on top add a lovely crunch. So this looks like a delicious cauliflower casserole. That's like too good to be true, if I'm being honest. It looks so yummy. He's got port and balsamic braised red cabbage, sticky beetroot with walnuts, sexy sprouts. I love a sexy sprout. I love Brussels sprouts in general, but I love them when they're even more when they're sexy. He said Gaz's best ever roasties. He says crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside. I love making and eating these. Shaking them in the pan roughs up the edges, vital for crispiness. And roasties, he's referring to potatoes. And they just look like medium sized. They look like large roasted potatoes, essentially with seasoning and all crisped up. They look very yummy. Now he's got orange glazed carrots. Oh, I mean, I'm not joking, y'all. My brain is like sort of on fire here, being like, "Ooh, I want to make this. I want to make this." I need to call my mother. Maple pan roasted parsnips. There he is again with the parsnips. So maybe I'm gonna have to like try and give a whack at those. Hasselback potatoes with cheese sauce. These look absolutely yummy. Hasselback potatoes feel like a lot of work to me, but like totally worth it at the same time. Grilled tender stem. He says, this is my favorite way to serve tender stem. Make sure you get lots of nice charred marks on your broccoli. The flavor is fire. I was like, what is tender stem? But it says tender stem broccoli. I wonder if that's like broccolini in the UK or if it's like broccoli with a certain kind of stem. He's got a celeriac puree in here. And then he's got a little page with Christmas condiments such as cranberry and orange sauce, horseradish sauce, and mint sauce. Oh, mint sauce. Yes. That cranberry and orange sauce, I am into it. Fluffy Yorkshire puddings. These look so good. I've never had a Yorkshire pudding. I've got this page marked though, so it looks like I want to make it. Sweet potato and chestnut stuffing, pan roasted pumpkin wedges. And this takes us into a section called leftovers. He's got leftover turkey and leek pie. Oh, I could make a pot pie on Christmas Day. Everyone would love that. Christmas korma. He says, I'm so inspired by Indian food, especially dishes from southern India. I dream of traveling to India one day, but for now, making delicious curries is enough. Make sure you cook the onions with the spices for the full 10 minutes to make sure they are golden and sweet. This is another amazing way of using up any leftover Christmas food. Okay. And then he's got bubble and squeak patties. He says you can use whatever leftovers you have for bubble and squeak. This is a basic guide to using up some of the dishes from the previous chapters. My tip for the perfect bubble and squeak is to make sure you have plenty of potatoes. These will help bind all the leftovers together. So when you cook roasties, make sure make so when you cook roasties, make more than you need so you have enough leftovers. So that's great. He's giving you these patties you can make with a bunch of different leftovers from the book. Sweet chili crispy beef stir fry, again with some leftovers there. Zesty warm salad. And that takes us to afters, which I'm going to assume and hope. Oh gosh, there it is. I was going to say I want to think and hope it's dessert. And babies, here it is. Tiramisu. Now he's called this a boozy tiramisu in the description here. So what are our booze here? Well, it's going to be rum, right? Yep, rum. I just wondered if maybe there was more because it only calls for a quarter cup of rum in this, actually. He says, I was so pleased when I veganized this Italian classic. It's the perfect festive dessert and even more show stopping when you serve it with a sparkler. And it is cute. It's got a sparkler in here going off. Gosh, I wonder if my family would like a tiramisu. He's got that Christmas pudding in here. So that's that figgy pudding. It says the ultimate vegan Christmas pudding, boozy, fruity, and Moorish. I love that. Cinnamon spiced apple crumb. Creme brulee tartlets. They look outstanding. Ah, he's so cute. Here's a photo of him just putting a glass on a table, like you do when you're taking pictures for a cookbook. Spiced hot chocolate. Yes, please. I did. So fun little thing for you this year if you want to. Let me do it to my best Martha Stewart here. It really is. No, I'm just kidding. I've been really trying to hone in on my Martha Stewart impression. I'll get better and I'll come back to you. But last Christmas, David and I were in Florida at his mom's house, and the whole family was there. And I really came to wow the crowd, right? Like we did. His mom's really great. His mom always makes like vegan stuff for us. She'll take my cookbook and make like she made like 3 dishes for the holiday spread last year. Like she really tries to make sure David and I are taken care of. Thank you, Mama Pat. Um, and I came though with all the accoutrement for vegan hot chocolate. And it was Christmas Eve, and we're all, playing games, watching movies, doing things. And I looked at, the kids. I said, does anyone want a hot chocolate? And they were like, no. And one of them was like, yeah, I'll take one. And let me tell you, when I'm telling you I came with the peppermint marshmallows. I came with the vegan whipped cream. I came with these candy cane spoons that melt. You can stir your hot chocolate with and they melt in your hot chocolate. So I made this child. Oh, and I came with Christmas sprinkles. So like I made the most gorgeous hot chocolate ever. And I give it to this child and every other child was like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. Can I have one, please?" So then suddenly, and then all the adults too. So like I went from making one to making like 8 hot chocolates. And it was very fun. So this year I'm going to try and curate some sort of like hot chocolate bar at my cousin Allison's. That's where we're doing Christmas Eve. Um, I say bar, but ultimately, like I want to make everyone like beautiful, stunning hot chocolates and take them to them. So I'm excited to maybe have that offering, or maybe I'll just do it at my mom's because it'll be a lot of people. Maybe Christmas Eve at my mom's house. It'll be a hot chocolate kind of night. But the thing about a hot chocolate is having it late at night is chocolate is like it's caffeine, y'all. So it's hard to drink a hot chocolate late at night, especially when Santa's coming the next day. I'll never get any sleep. Oh my goodness. Okay, he's got a grilled mango. My point of that was it was a fun festive thing to do, maybe something you can consider this year. Get yourself all the hot chocolate fixings. Everyone loves hot chocolate. They don't care that it is vegan. Use oat milk in case anyone has nut allergies. So like make your hot chocolate with oat milk and then everyone can enjoy it. All right. Grilled mango and coconut panna cotta. And it looks so beautiful in this dish. What I love about the photos in this dish is they made sure in the background of all the photos, you can see Christmas lights, usually out of focus. So you're getting that festive holiday glow in every single picture, and I love it. Chocolate orange raw cheesecake looks absolutely outstanding the way they have garnished this cheesecake. So good. Fried donut profiteroles. Got that wrapping of sugar strings around it, everything. So good. Now he's got a morning after pick me up. If you need a helping hand after an indulgent Christmas day, this is the perfect drink for you. Oh, and it's like a juice drink, like cucumbers and celery and watermelon, kale, spinach. Love that. Okay, and then it said they finished things off with a cheese plate in the UK. And what do you know? We're finishing this chapter off with cheese and pate board, and it's got pistachio and cranberry cheese logs. Sweet Lord, see, I want to make that. Ah, folding this page over. How yummy is that? Pistachio and cranberry cheese log, the base of macadamia nuts and cashew nuts, a truffle cream cheese. Such good stuff on here. And then he's got a lemon and dill cheese and then a mushroom pate. A bit of pate. Oh, I drink it all day. Anyone? Funny girl? Funny girl? Barbara Streisand? Funny girl? A bit of pate. Oh, I drink it all day. Okay. This takes us into what I think is our last section. It says edible gifts. I love giving vegan gifts, and I still feel like I've not mastered the craft of it. There is a book called Vegan Gift Giving or Vegan Gift Guide. It's by Joni Marie Newman. I cover it on the podcast. So many fantastic ideas for giving great gifts in that book. But here we are, edible gifts. We have another chapter to go through here. Maybe this will give you some ideas. We got Christmas cookies. Light crunchy cookies, he says, perfect to give away as gifts. Healthy chocolate rocky road, chocolate goodness. These are filled with nuts and dried fruit. Another amazing stocking filler. So this is probably like a bark, I would imagine. Coconut bounties. This literally looks like not an almond joy, but what's the coconut variation of it? It looks like a coconut chocolate bar, essentially. Jaffa cakes. He says, vegan Jaffa cakes. Who would have thought it? The wonders of agar agar. These are very simple to make. Give any vegan these wrapped up in a box, and you will make their Christmas. Now, I want to look up what is a Jaffa cake because that's obviously not a American thing. So Jaffa cakes are a cake introduced by McVitie and Price in the UK in 1927 and named after Jaffa oranges. The most common form of Jaffa cakes are circular and have 3 layers: sponge base, a layer of orange flavored jam, and chocolate coating. So that is a Jaffa cake. Now you know. There you go. The more you know. All right, that moves us into Gaz's boozy mince pies. He's like, he said this. He does say this in the book. He says there's something extra Christmassy and special about making your own mince pies from scratch. So get those Christmas tunes playing and have fun making these delicious mince pies. And of course, a mince pie for us stupid Americans. A mince pie is a sweet pie of English origin filled with mincemeat, being a mixture of fruit, spices, and the pies are traditionally served during the Christmas season. So look at that. That's a mince pie. I knew that's what it was, but for years I did not know that. I always thought it was like meat all minced up in a tiny little pie. That's what I thought. But it's a little fruity pie. He's got a great recipe for mulled wine in here. And then he has got, oh, and that closes us out. We're closing things out in this book with mulled wine. He said you can easily make this into mulled cider instead. Just use 2 bottles of vegan cider instead of red wine. So look at that. Options to make it into a cider instead of wine. Lots of ways to get Christmassy with Vegan Christmas by Gaz Oakley. Over 70 amazing recipes for the festive season by Avant Garde Vegan. Please also check out Vegan 100 and Plants Only by Gaz Oakley. And it also appears he has a new holiday book out called Plants Only Holidays. So that's another one you can check out for the holidays as well. And of course, you can follow Gaz across the board on socials at Gaz Oakley. And again, his website is gazoakleychef.com if you want to keep up on the latest from Mr. Gaz Oakley. Very talented man who has given us so many wonderful recipes, and his social media accounts are really great to follow. Lots of great information. And that's all from me, my friends. This also concludes our deep dive into holiday books this season. Hopefully you found something you like that will help you plan your holiday feast this year. And we've still got new episodes coming out at you before the new year comes. So be sure to stay tuned in to keep on cooking. And hey, keep on cooking. And remember, it's nice to be nice.
Thank you so much for listening. We'd be so grateful if you would rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. It really does help us.
Yes, thank you so much. And don't forget to check out keeponcooking.com for all of the latest in recipes and Keep On Cooking updates. This has been a Muzzy Cat production.